broadcasting. Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome to the Voiceover Network presents the Voiceover Hour. Tonight it is all about video games, animation and Transformers. No, I know, very, very excited. We've got an amazing guest joining us tonight. But before I introduce him, I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm Rachel Naylor. I'm the founder of the Voiceover Network. I'm also a voice actor. I am editor of the Buzz magazine and host of the Voiceover Hour. So welcome, everybody. Welcome, members of the Voiceover Network. Welcome, non-members. I know we have a lot of new people joining us for the webinar today, and it's wonderful to have you all on. So normally I start by saying, yes, can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me. Fantastic. Stephen's in. Good morning, everyone. I know it's morning, evening, afternoon, middle of the night for some people. Fantastic. Good stuff. Well, it is absolutely wonderful to have no screen pictures. Hey, hello, everyone. Crystal clear audio as per usual. Fantastic. Yay. Hey, Siggy. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, it is amazing to have you guys joining us all around the world. So what I like to do before we kind of get into stuff is just to let us know where in the world you are watching from, because it's always nice to see kind of where we've got everybody, and we may have some new places. Maybe some people are logging in from places that we haven't had on here before, but it's nice to see where in the world everybody is joining us from. So I'm going to read them out as they come in. We have Isle of Bute, Scotland. We've got Washington, DC. Hello. We have Aldi. Somebody's in Aldi. Hello, Aldi. So random. We have Ruby from the Philippines. Hello, Ruby. We have Iceland. Hey, Iceland. We have hello from sunny South Carolina. We've got Carl in Kent, UK. We have Dominica in Brighton, the UK. We also have Stephen in Pakenham, Victoria, Australia. G'day. We've got Susan in Naples, Florida. Keep typing in, and if you're watching this on record, you can email me if you want to tell me where you are, but it's fine. Wonderful. Well, welcome everybody. The Voiceover Network. So some of you guys are members of the Voiceover Network, some of you aren't. So the Voiceover Network is all about helping, supporting and strengthening the voiceover industry. And that drives absolutely everything we do. I'm a voice actor and I love this industry. And I started the Voiceover Network because I saw that there was a real need to create a safe place for voiceover artists, producers, agents, casting directors to all come together to help and support each other, to learn, to train, to help each other, to share information, and to feel like we're all part of a community. And that's what we've got here at the Voiceover Network. It's a family, it's a community, and it's global as well, because we now have members based all around the world, which is very, very exciting. Oh, I think Neil's just fallen over. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I can. So what we do with the Voiceover Network, we provide events in person and online. We provide training, again, in person and online. These are global. We have the Buzz magazine, which is the only magazine in the world dedicated to the voiceover industry. Very, very proud of that. And again, it's available worldwide. We provide online resources. You get one-to-one with a sound engineer. There's an amazing Facebook group, which it's been said by many, many people, it is the nicest, most friendly, most supportive, best Facebook group ever. So there we go. Yes, and yeah, we were the first to create this kind of community in the voiceover world, and to provide the training that we do and the events that we do. So, so we're very, very proud of that. Please do tweet away tonight and Instagram using the hashtag VON-webinar, VON webinar. We are at Network VO, and it's the_voiceover_network for Instagram. So please do share on social media, anything you like, pictures, videos, amazing information that you're going to get out of tonight. And we will then retweet, share, like, comment to all our thousands of followers as well. So that's great. We also, joining us before I introduce our amazing guest, we have Lisa Fizikara, who is our Business Operations Manager. Hey, Lisa.
Hello. Hi, everyone. It's going to be a fun one.
Excellent. So Lisa will be taking your questions, guys. So please do type in any questions you have. Type them into the chat box, and we will, Lisa will ask us, and me and Neil will try to answer them as best we can. So and yeah, feel free to comment and chat and in the chat box. Right, so moving. Wait a minute, where's my, what have I done something to my computer? No, I haven't. There we go. Oh, the chat box appeared for some reason. I don't know where it went. So our amazing guest, I'm very, very proud and very grateful to announce we have the amazing Neil Kaplan. So Neil is an American voice actor, entertainer, and comedian. Neil is possibly best known around the world for having provided the voice of the iconic hero Optimus Prime in 2001's Transformers Robots in Disguise. An amazing, amazing role to play. Video game credits include World of Warcraft, League of Legends, Destiny 2, The Last of Us, Mafia 3, Red Dead Redemption 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, Halo Wars 2, Star Wars Uprising, Star Wars The Old Republic, Shadow of Raven, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, Spider-Man Unlimited, Marvel Heroes, God of War, Diablo 3, Halo Wars 2, the Lego Movie 2. Oh my gosh, it just goes on and on and on. Hundreds.
You forgot about StarCraft.
StarCraft. Oh, there we go. StarCraft. I know. As well as loads and loads of animations. Love, Death and the Robots, Robot Chicken, The Wacky Races, Pen Zero, Part-Time Hero. There's millions. So welcome the amazing, the fabulous Neil Kaplan.
Hi.
Yay. Thank you
Hello,
so much for joining
everybody.
us.
Thank you.
It's brilliant to have you. We met way back when you came to our summer party here in London, the Voiceover Network summer party 2016.
Yes.
Yes, where we had it in West London, and you came and you did the prizes, the raffle prizes for us, which is great fun. So some of you guys
practiced my networking.
Yes. Oh no, it was good. It was really good. So fantastic. And you are joining us from beautiful, sunny California.
Yes, in between fires. Yeah.
Yeah. How are the fires, by the way? Because I know that you're quite close to them.
Well, I mean, I hate to complain about the fire that was about a half mile from here, because it was really more of a nuisance than anything else. And considering, people have lost their homes, and I have one friend who has some animals, a donkey, a couple of mini horses, some other animals that live near their house, but that they had to evacuate them last week. I have no, everybody's fine. Everybody's back in their pens, and
good.
But and then I have a friend who is rebuilding his home and his bar from the Paradise Fire last year. So it's a constant and consistent thing. But like earthquakes, we hopefully prepare and we get through them as best we can.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for joining us. And so, Neil, tell us kind of. It's always good to get started with from the beginning of time. No, from the beginning. How did you get into voiceovers, and how did it all start?
Well, I think I've always had a fascination with the human voice.
Yeah.
Whether it was being at temple with my dad and standing next to him and hearing him intone the prayers and in a very deep voice, and I guess I always thought that was a masculine sound, and so I always kind of imitated that and pushed my resonance down and tried to expand my range and things like that.
Yeah.
And I grew up watching a show when I was a kid called Copycats.
Yeah.
And this was an American TV show with impressionists long before Saturday Night Live, and without makeup effects or anything like that. They would play famous characters. They would do impressions. And there was a sketch that they did where they did celebrity sneezes, and they would literally just do a celebrity sneezing. Achoo, baby. things like that. So I started doing Donald Duck, or what I thought was Donald Duck. And I did from the back of the throat. I did. And my brothers, being older brothers, told me how bad that was in no uncertain terms. And somehow, it's not like I looked it up because I was literally like 5, but somehow playing around with my mouth, I ended up discovering how Ducky Nash did Donald Duck. So
from the age of 5, I'm a new guy. Something that sounds like Donald Duck.
now my tone is a little too low to actually do Donald. A friend of mine actually is one of the 3 main voices for Disney for Donald Duck, Daniel Ross, and came over one day and we were talking about it, and I didn't even know that they were auditioning for a new voice for Donald, and I was kind of disappointed for about 15 seconds until he did Donald, and I knew without a shadow of a doubt I didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
It was nails. It was brilliant. It was genius. Which is, quite honestly, as an actor, when you see somebody who's doing something that you thought you could do and they're doing it hands down better, it helps you sleep at night.
Yeah.
Where it's not like, oh, I could have. No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. You never had a shot. He's genius. Anyway, that discovery just led me to doing impressions, and I did impressions, and I grew up listening to old radio shows and just really having an affinity for the human voice. And I did theater, and every time I booked a role, I would read through the script, and by the end of the script, I would have the vocal basis for the character. And it seemed like I built the character from there. Like I almost built a pyramid by putting the top stone first and then building everything down to support that. And if what I ended up creating didn't fall under that top stone, well, then it shifted, and then the voice would naturally shift. Just because the voice was there first doesn't mean that that's where we ended up. But I just always approached every character from how they sound.
Yeah.
And I ended up studying musical theater in New York City, and was just at a family get together at my uncle's, I think, out on Long Island. Yep, I'm a Giants fan. And he introduced me to a disc jockey for a radio station in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And my uncle introduced me as the kid who did impressions and studied musical theater. And the guy asked me to do some impressions. He liked them, and then said, would you record some things for my radio show? So I went to the studio, recorded some stuff, and it was like, wait a second. Nobody's looking at me. There are no lights in my eyes. I don't have to remember dance steps.
Yes.
This is genius. And then a whole lot of, wait, you mean I can play anything? That's where I found out the whole idea in voiceover that I believe in, which is if you can play it, you can play it. Now we're getting more into ethnically accurate, racially accurate casting, and that's terrific. That's great. I've played I've played characters of different nationalities, of different races, and if they want to give me the opportunity in the future, cool, I'll read for them. And if they want to give other actors the opportunity, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
Technology is opening up more and more and more and more opportunities every day.
Yeah.
But
so when do you feel like you had your kind of big, when was your break? When did you feel like you'd arrived? Did you have a moment of feeling like, was it the
I still haven't had my break. I still no, because here's the thing. I mean, on the one hand, you look at my IMDb page, or you look at my resume, or you
Yeah.
look at my experience, and I've worked on a lot of titles.
A lot of titles.
The difference is I'm a day player for the most part.
Yeah.
So I've never had something where it's like, hey, it's Tuesday at 10 a.m. Got to go to this studio for the recording session. You know, never had anything that was regular.
Yeah.
Never had anything I could count on.
Yeah.
You know, I was never a spokesperson. I was never had a, you know, or still haven't, you know, gotten a regular gig. So I still haven't gotten that break. Now, probably the moment when I felt like I'm in this
Yeah.
was literally about 6 weeks ago.
Wow.
It was at the Robot Chicken 10th anniversary party.
Wow.
And I'm outside and I'm talking to Phil Lamar and I'm talking to Ellen Tudyk. And, you know, at one point they asked anybody who's played a character in the show, and it was at this big theater, you know, 1,200, 1,800 seat theater. Anybody who's worked on the show, anybody who's done voices, please stand up and let the audience appreciate you. And I stood up. And a lot of my colleagues were there and they were standing up. And I'm looking around and going, holy crud. I'm in this.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm busy living my everyday life. I'm busy, you know, trying to save up for a house with my wife. I'm busy, you know, taking care of my dog. I don't
Yes, your
think
beautiful
of those
dog,
things.
Buster.
Thank you, Buster.
Buster.
Yes.
Buster. How is Buster?
He's good. He's good.
Oh, he's beautiful.
Thank you. But
Yes.
so, you know, I'm busy.
So there's a real
living-
life that goes on behind. That's the whole thing, isn't it? That there's-
Absolutely.
and we, you know,
Absolutely.
there are struggles, and there are, you know, there's all kind of the stuff that everybody has in their lives. But you're still Optimus Prime.
Well, I was.
Well,
you know,
you still did that though. I mean,
no, absolutely.
How cool was that when you got the part?
Well, when I got the part in the early days of the internet, people were terrified because they knew me from a show called Digimon.
Okay.
And the voice I did on the show was, you know, not necessarily very much of an Optimus Prime sort of a situation.
Wonderful.
So they were afraid that they were going to get a British prim and proper sort of an Optimus Prime, you know. They'd get transform, roll out, oh my.
Wonderful.
No, they had no idea. And so I read the comments online, and a lot of people who were concerned because they literally thought they'd get, you know, Autobots. And it was closer to Hawkmon Digivolve to Optimus Prime. And so, you know, it's like, then I did it and people were like, ooh, okay. And no, it was, look, honestly, that show premiered Saturday morning, September 8th, 2001. I played the voice of a robot who, when he wasn't a robot, was a fire truck.
Yes.
3 days later, on September 11th, 2001, being the voice of a fire truck was a totally different sort of a thing.
Wow.
So, there were a couple of episodes we'd never aired on network television because one episode had, I believe, 2 twin buildings that were destroyed.
No.
It aired in the UK, and it's on the box set that was available in the UK, and it's on YouTube, but it never aired on the network we were on Fox Kids.
Wow.
And you know, you read the things online where people would write, I know Superman's not real, I know Optimus Prime's not real, but if he was, Tuesday would have been a good day. And you know, it was like a totally different sort of a thing. So I only played the character for a year, but I hold it very special in my heart.
Yeah.
People have asked me, you know, did you read for the movies? No, I didn't read for the movies. Rumor has it my name did come up in the room. I don't know how many people laughed or how many people said who. But they made the right choice. They went with the actor who originated the role.
Yeah.
And that's what we all would want.
Yes.
You know, and if you can't stand behind that, then you're probably not deserving of that opportunity yourself.
Yeah.
Now, if the phone rang and they wanted me to come back, I don't think the phone would have to ring twice.
Nice.
We'll just
Very cool. Very cool. And so video games. Let's talk about video games, because you have done, I mean, like
a couple
hundreds of video games.
Yeah.
Is that
I like to joke that, you know, I think I remember the dialogue for my first video game. I think it went something like this. Boop. Boop, beep. Beep, boop. Boop, beep. Now it's scary when people actually take me seriously and think I voiced Pong, but
and you're like,
but I did actually voice games back in the 90s, back when the original voices were only on computer games.
Yeah.
So I have been doing it for a while. I've seen it kind of morph. I've seen it kind of change. I've seen
huge amounts since the 90s.
Absolutely. But where it hasn't changed is that it's still a line by line situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because you're not necessarily the nature of the beast of having branches of different possible activity within the game necessitates some of the dialogue being recorded in a way that it's a bit more general.
Yeah.
Or you record this branch and you record this branch, and because you're doing that and it's based on different actions by different characters, you can't get the cast together.
Yeah.
It's just
Which is always such a shame. Like, I always feel really sad, you know, when you've kind of worked on an amazing game and then it comes out and you've never met the actors. I mean, I always tried to kind of get together with a couple of them in games that I've been in, but it is difficult.
You know, I really tried to get together with Frank Langella, but it just didn't work out for some reason. I was hoping to hang with Bill Nighy. You know, and I just, you know, his agent just wouldn't forward my calls. Those literally were the two actors that I had most of my scenes with in the game Destiny 2.
Amazing.
Never met either one, never spoke to either one, never worked directly with either one.
Yeah.
But if you watch those cutscenes from that game, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And so that what I tell my students is that's a secret way of informing you just how important the director really is in video games.
Yeah.
Because if the director doesn't set something right with one of those actors, what I mention is, like, let's say both actors read the scene and it says that the characters are having a meal across from each other at a long royal dining hall. Okay? Now, all that tells you is that the table is a rectangle. It doesn't tell you if they're sitting here and here, which is actually like 3 feet from each other, or whether they're sitting here and here, and they're 20 feet from each other.
Yeah.
Now, if the director's not on top of it, one actor plays it like they're sitting here, talking to somebody over here, and the other actor plays it over here like they're talking to somebody here. And so you get this disconcerting feeling that just the scene never feels right because the actors aren't occupying the same space, physical space, in their mental space.
Yeah.
I know it gets trippy when I start talking about stuff like that.
Oh, totally.
But because you're not on the set together, you're not reading together, that's totally possible. And neither actor is to blame for that mistake. The scene won't work. Both actors did great work. It's along the lines of, a bad performance in video games can be made up of 10,000 brilliant performances. You could do the lines and listen to every line and just listen to the line independently and go, oh, that is genius. That's beautiful. Oh my, listen to the cadence. Listen to the tonality. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful. Listen to the storytelling within that line. Then you listen to the next line and you have the same reaction. You listen to the next line and you have the same reaction. And then you weave them together in a scene and they don't work because they're not doing a scene. They're delivering line.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And that can happen really easily when you're alone in a booth doing line by line by line. You sit there and like, speak and be brilliant. And every line is brilliant. And every line is fantastically delivered.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every line sounds wonderful, independent of each other. But when they're weaved together into a scene, it sounds like the person's not present. And that's easy to do as the talent in the booth.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like, you know, you're, and I hope I get the painter right, Surratt. That's the one who did the dots? Right? From Sunday in the Park with George Surratt, wasn't he the one who did all the dots?
I think so.
Well, here's the thing. When you're doing a video game, you are one of the color of dots.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are the black dots. And without all the other dots together, that picture does not come together. You are just a small piece of it. It's like, for instance, I was working on something once and the actor, and when I say actor, it's a generic term. It could be male. They could be male or female.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but the actor next to me was doing an impression or was doing a character based on a famous person, I should say. I interpreted that as they were doing an impression. Part of my critical brain started going off, Neil, you do that impression better than that. And then the business part of my brain, the mellow part of my brain, the intellectual part of my brain said, Neil, maybe what that actor is doing is exactly what the producer wants. Maybe that actor can even do a better impression. They're not doing it because that's not what's wanted. So stay in your lane, do your job, be the color you've been hired to be the blue you've been hired to be. Don't worry about somebody else's purple or somebody else's magenta. Stay in your lane. The people who are directing it, the people who are producing it, the people who see the whole picture have a better idea. So, shh, relax. And it was literally a very educational moment for me, you know, to remind myself of that. And as actors, I mean, especially, you know, a lot of us come at this from a theatrical background where we see the costumes, we see the props, we see the sets. We hear the orchestra, so we can get a feeling of the whole package coming together. Now, actors who come at this from a film background where they understand there are going to be effects in post-production, and there's going to be editing, and they're going to choose the line that works the best. It's like, for instance, I've never understood why any actor who ever wins an award for anything that's been recorded, so like television or movies, why the first person they don't thank is not the editor. I just don't get it. Because if the editor picks the wrong takes or different takes, or the editor cuts your scene together and cuts the scene a second too early or a second too late, it makes the whole performance uncomfortable, and suddenly people aren't loving what you're doing and you're not up there winning the award. You know, and it literally, you know, is one of those things that's always fascinated me, and I just appreciate it more when what I'm doing to help create this piece of art is even more isolated, is even more disconnected, is reminding myself, you know, that I literally am part of a team. I am not the team. You know, this isn't, I'm not LeBron James. I'm not, I can't think of anybody equivalent in football. So anyway, sorry.
Oh, no.
I know, but the fact of it is, I'm a baseball fan. I think of things like baseball, and a baseball player can be an all-star.
Yeah.
But they're a better teammate if they understand the reason they're an all-star, the reason they caught anybody's attention is because everybody else on the field does their job too.
Yeah.
You know, so a brilliant role, a brilliant performance voice acting wise is only brilliant because the engineer set the levels the right way. Because the director said what they needed to say to get you in the right headspace.
Yeah.
Because the people who edited everything chose the right takes.
Yeah.
It's a combination, because if it's a video game, the people who created the vistas, the people who created the look of your character, they helped you get that acclaim. And you can't ever forget that. You're part of a team.
Yeah. Excellent. Well said. Very, very well said.
So what? Did I answer one question?
No. It's
horrible.
good. It's good. No, I love it. I love it. Lisa, do we have questions? People do ask questions. If you've got any questions for Neil, and we'll ask them. And we're going to announce something very exciting in a minute. Wait a minute. What are we on time wise? Yes, we have something exciting to announce soon. So don't go anywhere, people. But yes, I think so have we got any questions, Lisa?
Sorry, yes, I muted myself. Sorry about that. Yes, so we've just got here from Siggy asking, having touched a lot of the big animation and cartoon projects of the early 2000s and so on, what has been your most research-intensive role? Ooh.
I hate to disappoint you. I've never really researched much. You know, well, it's when you're playing a character that's never existed before, what can you research? When you are playing in a new universe that has never existed before, what can you research? You know, one of the things that we are blessed with, you know, we can play anything. I've played a heart. I've played a starship. I've played monsters. I've played toilets. I've played, no, go away. Sorry. No, somebody. I'm using my phone.
You played toilets and then you disappeared. I was like, whoa.
I'm using my phone, and some 800 number was trying to call and sell me something.
How dare they interrupt our webinar, important webinar.
One of the things that I discovered was that it doesn't matter what you play.
Yeah.
We all speak the same language, and that is the language of human emotion.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't matter if you're playing an inanimate object or an alien, you know, because this is all directed one place. This is all directed to the consumer. Okay.
Yeah.
And the consumer's only going to understand it through their emotional life.
Yeah.
You know, we all have our interpretations of happy and sad and heartbreaking and things like that. Yeah. And my research is basically just living life. My research is paying attention.
That's the key, isn't it? To live your life to the fullest, and also to train.
Sure, but the other thing about research is paying attention. So watch movies, watch TV. What is selling? You know, what is popular with the audience right now? I'm working on a project here with local actors. It's called New Old Radio Theater. And we're bringing to life old radio scripts. We're not changing anything other than we're casting in a more modern style and we're playing it in modern style. So the acting style is more modern, more current, which is a challenge sometimes for the actors when they're reading dialogue that was written in the 40s, because you want to get into that 40s patter, you know, and it's very easy to fall into. You know, but as I tell them, who do you need to be in this moment to be the person who would say that? And that's what we do. But we change things with regards to the fact of it is, go away, thank you. We look, when this was written in the 40s, they wrote the role of the doctor for a white guy. And we know now you don't have to be a guy and you don't have to be white to be the doctor. Okay, or to even be the lead in the thing. So we mix up the casting. And so the only words that will change are pronouns for whoever the character is. And so, you know, the idea is, you know, again, with the research, is knowing what is today's style. You know, what is modern acting versus period acting, because we will do things and they will ask us, do this in a 1940s style, do this in a 1920s style, you know, do this in and the interesting thing about the 20s is we can't so much go back and look at recordings or listen to recordings from the 20s because they won't be accurate representations. So what do we do?
Because it's all the recordings of that there's the style.
Right. They've also, the cylinders may have swollen or they may have shrunk. So we're not getting a true representation. When we listen to Edison's original recordings, they're close to what happened. They're an impression of what happened, but because just of, you know, just environmental conditions, it's changed.
Definitely.
You know,
and it's staying, you know, current and staying like training and continuing to learn as a voice actor, no matter kind of what area, you know, how like experienced
but
you are.
I'll wrap up this one thing really quickly.
Yeah.
So what is current? What is selling currently as far as the interpretation of that other thing? Yeah. So everybody out there who's consuming something, if they're thinking of the 1920s, they're not thinking of the 1920s. They're thinking of what they've seen. Yes. Which has been a representation for the 20s. So that's my research. Yeah. And of course, as you mentioned, I still take classes. Yeah. Okay. I've been doing this. My first job was 33 years ago. But I still take classes because, as a mentor of mine once said, the most important lessons in life are not the ones we are taught as much as the ones that we're reminded of. Yeah. Okay. And sometimes we take a class to remind ourselves of that lesson that we learned when we were in 6th grade. Yeah. Or to remind ourselves of, you know, we live such detail-oriented lives with so much information. It's no wonder that sometimes we forget some of the lessons that we need to remember as actors. Yeah. You know, or we find a new interpretation or a new route to get to our favorite destination. Yeah. You know, definitely. And I'm always fascinated by workshops, because I think workshop scenarios, it's great to have one-to-one coaching, but in a workshop, you learn so much from, you know, the other people in the group. I'll be honest with you. I think one-on-one is something that should really be held off on until you really have your feet under you. Yeah. Until you really understand the language we're all speaking and you understand how your instrument works. Yeah. Because I honestly, my belief, especially with acting, is that most of the learning that we get, you know, I mean, actors take an acting class with other actors in there so they can watch other people act. Yes. So they can watch other people put into effect what was just told to them.
Yeah.
I have found when I take a workshop, I'm learning when the instructor has told everyone, okay, we're going to take a pass at the copy and everyone's going to force a smile on their face because I want you to hear what it sounds like to warm up the tone. And yeah, you're going to look like an idiot.
Yeah.
That's fine because that's not what this is about. How do you sound?
Yeah.
And when you see somebody put that smile on their face and then you tilt your head down and you listen to them and you hear the warmer tone, you go, I get it. Because when you're in the booth, you shouldn't be trying to learn.
Yeah.
You should just be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and monitor. If you sit there and monitor and go, am I doing this right? You know, then you're doing it wrong.
And
You're
it does come. It comes from practice, doesn't it? It comes from going to workshops and playing in a safe environment where you aren't. Because you know that's the thing. When I remember when I came into the industry 18 years ago, and there wasn't any classes, there weren't any voiceover workshops. There was no training. It was just you had to learn on the job, and it was a scary place to be because you had to just go in, and I mean there were a lot of us that were flying by the seat of our pants, right? We were just winging it, and now we're so lucky that we do have the opportunity to have workshops, to have training, to go and learn from the best people.
There's one important thing that you're forgetting there, and that is you can't know what you can do until you've tried some things, and you can't know what you can do until you've tried some things and failed. Okay. And do you really want to fail on the job?
Yes. No.
Do you really want to come up short when you're trying to make a professional impression? No. You want to blow it in a workshop.
Yeah.
You want to mess up. You want to, as I had a teacher once say to me, and I love the term, you want a place where you can fail gloriously. Not just fail, but go for it and come up short. You know, be Wile E. Coyote trying to jump across a chasm. You know, come up short and splat. That's great. But what does Wile E. Coyote do? He comes back with another plan.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
And that's it.
Let's be Wile E. Coyote.
Absolutely. Until we learn to be the road runner, be Wile E. Coyote. Okay. What I tell my students is I liken it to Muppets. And it's like the idea is to be Fozzie Bear. To be on the stage telling horrible jokes, not realizing you're telling horrible jokes. Because you're committed to the material. You're committed to making people laugh. The other option is you're Statler and Waldorf up in the balcony, watching everything, commenting on everything. And actors do that all the time. And if you're wasting any bit of your brain power while you're in the booth saying, oh, that was terrible. What are you doing? What is coming out of your mouth? Or even the opposite, you're a genius. Listen to you. Oh my gosh, listen to that tone. You are rocking the house. You are killing it. If you are busy having those thoughts, I'll guarantee you're not killing it. You've got to be present. You've got to play the character.
Yes. Definitely. Right. So I know we've got some questions coming in, but we've got something to announce before we do some questions. So we're going to announce something, and then we're going to take questions because I know some of you have asked questions. But Neil, in fact, everybody who's watching, who would like to take a workshop with Neil in London? Those who are in London, because I know most of you guys are in London. Can you just type in yes if you would like to do a workshop with Neil? If you would like Neil to come to London.
I'm raising my hand.
And teach a workshop for the Voiceover Network. Say yo, yes, please, yes, please. People are typing in yes. Seriously, consider flying over. Yes, they're all coming in saying yes. Siggy's going to come over from Iceland. Stephen, you have to fly over from Australia.
Actually, Siggy, why don't you get a bunch of friends together and have me go out there? I like that idea. That'd be cool, too.
Yes. Lots of people saying yes. Well, it just so happens, people, that we have organised for Neil to come to London to teach an amazing workshop for us. We're very, very excited about this. It's character creation for video games and beyond. And it is happening on the 9th of February. That's right, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, Sunday the 9th of February. It's a full day workshop. You're going to get to work with Neil, working on characters, working in a recording studio. You can have scripts. Neil, do you want to tell us a little bit more about it?
Basically, it delves into my philosophies about character creation. The biggest thing I believe is anything we do in voiceover, we're playing a character.
Mm.
We're playing a facet of ourselves. And it doesn't matter if it's a commercial, it's an industrial narration, it's a video game, it's animation. It really doesn't matter. Because at this point in our art, we cover such a wide range of acting styles.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, for instance, I took a workshop with a director once who talked about the things that they had worked on and mentioned that they believed that their shows had a very indie film style of acting.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, because I break things down like that really quickly, I thought, well, Napoleon Dynamite was an independent film, and Boys Don't Cry was an independent film.
Yeah.
And if you want to tell me that the acting styles in those two films were the same, I might disagree. And video games run the gamut from ultra real, like in The Last of Us, to highly stylized, like in Cuphead or Spyro or Skylanders. And we have to be prepared stylistically to do anything. And that's where the research that was asked about earlier, watch things, pay attention. You know, that's the best research. Get an idea of what kind of styles are out there. But everything we do is playing a character. And the only way we can play those characters and the only way we can be appreciated is by speaking the language of human emotion. And and we just get together and we pretend. I remind people of the power of their imaginations. You know, I say in my workshop that voiceover is the closest thing to being 5 years old other than being 6.
Brilliant. I love it. And I know that everybody's very, very excited who's watching, who can get to London on the 9th of February or get a flight to London on the 9th of February. So what we're doing tonight, we're actually officially releasing tickets tomorrow morning. It's all, nobody knows anything about this. You guys are getting first dibs on this. And if you're watching the recording, hopefully there's still tickets left. We're going to do a pre-release, guys. We're going to do a pre-release now for the next 2 hours. You're going to get the chance to book a ticket to this workshop. There are only 16 places on this workshop, and these workshops sell out so fast, and Neil is in very, very high demand. And he hasn't come to London before, but we know that, this is very, very exciting to have Neil
not to teach.
in London. No, there we go. You've been to London for all sorts of holidays and Comic-Cons and all sorts. And Neil does travel the world doing Comic-Con. So, guys, if you would like to come and work with Neil on Sunday the 9th of February, Lisa's going to put the link in now. The tickets for one day, a full day, jam-packed day with Neil are £279 general tickets, and then members, they are discounted to £249. So you get a full day for that, and it's going to be fantastic and very, very exciting. And
I gotta say, I really do love teaching because it's always creative for me. It's always different. Every actor brings their own personality. So, it keeps me on my toes and reminds me
Yeah.
of a lot of lessons that I need to be reminded of for my own career.
Definitely, definitely. And just something to mention that this workshop is designed for working professionals. So it's designed, it's for people who have acting experience and some, you know, and voiceover and some video game experience.
Mostly just acting experience.
Acting experience, yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, so that's very exciting. So yes, I know tickets are now already flying out the door, which is very exciting. But yeah, if you're thinking about it, make sure you book, because these are going to go quick. If you do want to, we do split payment options, because, you know, we want to make sure that people can do it, and no matter what your kind of financial situation is. So you can always email Lisa at thevoiceovernetwork.co.uk, and she will she will sort you out with a split payment so that you can spread the costs. So yes, very, very exciting. Now, do we have any questions, Lisa, that have come through? Anybody, any questions before we...
Yes. So David in America, I believe, David Cucci, when
Oddly, I don't know him.
ah,
I think both of us being Americans that we know each other, but
yeah.
go figure.
Hi, David. He asks, when you get an audition for a role from a foreign-made game, such as a JRPG, that already has a non-English VA, how much do you base your interpretation audition on the original performance?
Honestly, that depends on what the producer wants. You know, sometimes what they'll do is they'll send over just the sketch of the character and some lines, and they're open to a new interpretation to that character. Now, there are times when they will specifically send you a link for the character, and they're looking for something that's reminiscent of that. Now, because it's a different language and a different culture, I don't know that you can accurately give the same sound. So what I go for is a similar feeling. What I go for is, how does this voice sound to me? How does this affect me? And how do I achieve creating that same effect in somebody else? Now, I did actually have that happen with an anime series that I dubbed called Naruto. Mm-hmm. And they literally brought me in, played me the original Japanese actor, and said, give us your version of that. And I did that and played the character for like 8 years, 9 years, something like that. Yeah.
That's a pretty regular part, though. You were saying about regular
No,
stuff.
it wasn't regular. It wasn't regular. Nope,
okay.
Nope. Right. It would be, I'd read it, I'd do a couple of episodes, go a few months, they'd call me back in, maybe a few weeks later. It was never anything regular, never anything I could count on. So, but, so it really is up to the specs and what they're seeking.
Yeah.
You know, there are times when they don't want you to do what the previous one was. I mean, look, I know it wasn't a video game, but when I did Voltron, when I played Zarkon, they specifically said to me after they hired me, please do not watch the original show. Mm-hmm. No disrespect intended toward the show or the original actor. We just don't want any of that to influence. We loved your audition. We loved what you did.
Yeah.
So please don't mess it up by poisoning the well. So just pay attention to the specs that you get when you get the audition. That's the most important thing. Sometimes actors are so eager to work that they dive right into the copy and the audition and don't look at the specs.
Yeah.
They don't see the notes. They don't get the clues that have been laid right there at their feet. So don't be one of those people. Don't let your eagerness, your desire, your desperation, whatever it may be, get between you and giving the best audition that you can.
Nice.
Right on.
Good stuff. Excellent.
Right. We've got just a couple more, and so we'll make these the last two, right?
Yeah, quick fire round.
Quick fire round. So Siggy asks about your role, and I can't pronounce this, in Bleach. Would you say you had to put a lot of effort into aging your voice? If so, how did you go about doing that?
Okay.
Yeah.
That is an interesting story because that was basically doing an impression of another actor.
And how do you
who I
pronounce
worked
the name of that role?
Oh, please don't ask me. I played it. I never had to say his name.
Okay.
Yeah. Genryusai, blah, 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 blah.
There you go.
My thing about whenever I do an anime is I would inevitably, because they'd be these complex names, and I would always kind of sit there and say, can I call him Dave?
Yeah. Bob.
Please. Yeah, you know. So
Fab.
this actor I worked with on Transformers, and I don't know if I actually ever met him, but I always heard his voice. And so it's this voice that I do, and so many of us do. And apparently there was a tribute to this gentleman a few years ago, and he got up in front of the collected group and said, I love you all, but quit stealing my jobs by taking my voice. And essentially, I hate to, this was from Siggy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Siggy, I hate to say this. There are some things I just do, and I don't know how I do them. There are actors like Billy West or like D. Bradley Baker. That
we had D. Bradley on a couple of months ago.
But he can literally tell you, physiologically speaking, what is going on inside his throat and in his head to help him create the sound. He is that brilliant.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I just do it.
No, you don't have to.
So
there we go.
You know, it's not like I'm trying to be old. It's just that's the character. That's the character. He's got a curmudgeonly sound to him.
Yeah.
So that's Genryusai, whatever his name is.
Yes. Right.
Sorry, I wish I could tell you something, you know, from a technical standpoint, Siggy, but that goes back to the research. Sometimes the research is researching what your own instrument can do.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Cool. Good stuff. Another question, Lisa. Last one.
Please.
Yes, this one will take us out.
Just so you know, if you need me, I can stick around and take a couple more questions.
Oh, thank you.
You're the principal, so you tell me.
So Maureen asks, looking back, would you have done anything differently in your career?
Yes. Yeah. Probably the biggest thing that I would have done differently is I wouldn't have stopped being a face. Okay. I would have continued to have gone on those commercial auditions and those 2-line sitcom auditions, because 25 years later, I probably would have booked a few things. And at this point, there's been an odd little development in our world, and that is that a lot of casting directors and producers, if they don't know you already, for some reason they don't think that you can act unless they've seen you act. So do stand-up, do sketch comedy, do improv comedy, do plays, all right, do movies, do TV, do something so you can send out postcards every now and then saying, hey, catch me in this.
Yeah.
Okay? Because these days a lot of casting happens outside of auditions and outside of casting. It comes from people seeing you and hearing you, and like writers writing things because they hear your voice. So the other night I got out of my comfort zone and I did some stand-up comedy for the first time in about 20 years.
Wow.
25, 30
well done.
years. But it was one of those, and it was an opportunity to just send the word out and get some people. My agents were there. There were a couple of people from some studios that were there because there were several voice actors who were involved. Some of the casting is done there.
Yeah.
Some of the casting is when they hear you play your characters when you're doing stand-up. You play a character in an improv, you know? And so that's what I would have done differently. I would have continued to be a face. And believe it or not, I think it really would have helped my being established as a voice.
Nice. Fantastic. Awesome. Do we have any more questions, Lisa? Or I think we need to kind of wrap this up. But
Yeah, I think we're okay. That's
wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
I thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about you coming to London. Yay.
I'm really excited about it.
Oh, and it's,
I'm really excited. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I got an invitation to entertain some of the troops up in Alaska that very same weekend.
Oh,
And I said, as adventurous and as life-changing as
London
that
wins.
sounds,
London
I'm gonna
wins.
have to say no thank you, because I'm committed to teach some people out in London.
Yay, we win. Fantastic.
Yep.
Well, we're going to
Really
have so much
excited,
fun.
really
It's going to be an
excited.
amazing day. It's going to be
I
jam-packed.
met so many nice actors at your event back in 2016.
Yes.
Couple of whom stayed in contact, and we did some private one-on-ones.
Wonderful.
But you've got such a great group out there, and there's so much enthusiasm that I'm really, really excited about this.
Yeah, wonderful. Good stuff. Excellent. And I will be seeing you next week as well in LA, because I'm coming out to LA.
That's
So
right.
that's, very, very exciting.
See you then.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. It's been so wonderful to have you on the Voiceover Hour. And those of you that are watching the recording, members of the Voiceover Network all get access to watch the recordings. So if you're watching this on recording, thank you. If you are watching this and you're not a member of the Voiceover Network and you would like to join, please email Lisa at thevoiceovernetwork.co.uk and we will get that sorted, because we'd love you to come and join the Voiceover Network and get all the amazing benefits that you get, which is access to information, the community, resources, workshops, events, loads of stuff. So what's the link for tickets, please? Oh, Katie's asking for the link for tickets. We will. It is in there, Katie. You should be able to see it. But yes, book quickly, because the tickets are going to be available for the next 2 hours, and then we will shut it down, and then it'll go live tomorrow. So if there are any tickets left, basically, because they are. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Lisa.
Yes. Oh, it was wonderful. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Neil. I like your shirt.
I know.
Thank
yes, we haven't
you.
mentioned the shirt. Awesome shirt. Absolutely brilliant.
My rubber ducky.
Yeah, rubber duckies. I know. So yeah. So thank you everybody
With
for watching.
sunglasses.
I know, look at that. Oh, we haven't done the social media. Hashtag Von Webinar, please. Do tweet, Instagram, Facebook. Use the hashtag Von Webinar. And wonderful. Well, everybody's saying thank you. Getting lots of lovely messages. Saying thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Does Neil have a social media tag?
Yeah.
Oh, what's your social media?
You can find me on Facebook at Neil Kaplan Voice Actor. Please search for Neil Kaplan Voice Actor. And I do actually participate and answer email there as often as I can. And of course, Instagram, Kneecap Pics, NEKAPPIX, or on the Twitter, Kneecap, NEKAP. Yes, it sounds like your kneecap, but it is, in fact, Neil Kaplan minus a bunch of letters.
Cool. Fabulous.
Awesome.
And you're getting lots of, everybody's loved it, Neil. So thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join us on the Voiceover Hour. It's been a pleasure. And it's been wonderful to have you.
It was great talking to you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to seeing you next week in LA and also in London in February.
Yep.
Next year, 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
2020. We'll see you then.
Wonderful. Take care, everyone, and see you in 2 weeks when we've got another very special Voiceover Hour webinar. All right, take care. Bye.